Alright gamers, we are back again for another Shojiga summon. So this time around we are looking at the purple raid Sazabi. So at this point in time we are already a year into the game, and as far as do you guys want to summon, I'm just gonna ask you guys a few simple questions as far as this unit goes. First of all, do you guys really need a purple raid unit? And secondly, do you guys have any spot that may, do you need to replace any unit? That's simply all I'm asking, because I have tested out this unit extensively, just prior to any investment, meaning no potential lease, no transcendent skill, and I did that afterward, maxing it out. And I'm not fairly impressed with how this unit turns out, unfortunately. We already have a lot of unit that can kind of outdo what this unit is doing. So that's why I'm simply asking, would this unit be of a good aid to your account? Is this unit going to help you out in any form of way in your clan battle, arenas, co-ops, or raid, whatever, like any new content? Is it going to help you out? If it's not, then go ahead and skip it, because I'm fairly certain by the end of the year we're either getting the 1 year war duels, which is Xeon, and then the RX-72, or we're getting the unicorn duels, which is going to be Banshee Norn or the Awakening NTD unicorn. So if that's the case for unicorn, I can vouch the fact that that unit is going to last a good while. I don't know how the global schedule will be, but I think I can definitely for sure say 1000% the unicorn is going to be a very reliable PvE content unit. For arena, I'm not gonna vouch on that at all, because I feel like that unicorn is a little bit shaky as far as arena wise. And Banshee Norn, I'm not gonna vouch for that unit either, because that unit kind of sucks. In arena could be useful, but other than that unit is not an all-rounder. All right, Xeon I think is actually pretty decent for both, but I don't have full knowledge of it, so I'm not gonna talk about that too much. But anyways, this unit through my testing is bad. Alright, one simple thing I feel like why this unit is extremely bad, because of the weapon layout. Inherently being a raid unit, you obviously kind of focus on doing a lot of melee attacks. We have the beam saber obviously, but in terms of the other main weapon, third weapon being a range, and how the kind of AI functions, we just have a very bad unit that does not perform well. There are a lot of downtime in between swapping weapons, so you're just not doing anything in general. It looks really shaky in battle, where it like I want to say this unit is kind of lost. Like I think I want to. It's really funny because at the beginning of the battle, when Sazabi goes in for the melee attacks, and when you are going to beam rifle attacks or the beam shot rifle, the unit is kind of confused on what it needs to do at one time speed. So I was like, dude, this unit is so terrible. And yes, it's unfortunate. This Sazabi could be very strong, but the way that the layout is, had they had another melee weapon in here, I think it could have been better, because as far as the weapon layout, like how it goes, it probably would, its rotation would have been a lot more better. Because right now when I'm looking at the unit, its rotation goes from the beam saber, then it rotates back to the main weapon being the beam shot rifle, and then back to third, and it goes back to one, or it goes back to two, then one and three. So that's kind of basically how the order looks like. But the in between gaps in terms of the firing rate is extremely bad, because the fact that you have to chase down the enemy to hit with your melee weapon, that's the longest process. So yeah, this unit sucks simply speaking. The kits, it looks fine on paper, but it doesn't do justice at all. It's very unfortunate. But anyways, let's kind of talk about the overall kits, and we will talk about, can it be safe. So let's kind of get into that. So EX skill wise, we're doing up to a 603 at EX skill level 5, and then stun is at 8 seconds. So naturally speaking, at EX skill level 1, we are starting out at 4 seconds and goes up from there. So it will go to 5 at P2, and P3 at 6, and P4 at 7, and P5 at 8. Same things for the increased beam damage. You're starting out at 40%, so 40% is actually pretty respectable, so nothing wrong with that. Skill 1 is actually pretty decent, obviously, with the bullseye hit, so that's obviously very nice. And we have a max damage increase by 200,000, obviously very good. And when battle begins, increase range and damage by 200%. So looking at skill 1 is actually, and in actual battle, is actually fairly good, because this actually makes these two hit at a normal damage, because right now starting at C plus and B plus is actually very bad. But when you do consider the 200%, they seems pretty good. But overall, the beam or the beam saber is going to be doing the bigger portion of the two. So, but that's still pretty good to have. And on skill 2, unlock the diffuse mega particle cannon, and on dealing damage for 20 seconds, increase beam damage by 4.2%, stacking up to 10 times. And then same thing for the other one, except is going to be for the proximity damage, meaning only the beam saber can take advantage of that. So overall, in total, you are, for the beam saber specifically, you are getting up to an 84% stack, while the beam rifle and then the mega particle cannon is only getting a 42%. So it's pretty normal, just your basic DPS stuff going on. But the main thing you can kind of say is kind of like the saving grace for this unit is actually this last portion. To one targeted enemy unit on dealing damage for 0.2 seconds, stun status applies. So whenever you're hitting the enemy with anything, any damage that's dealt, you're instantly getting a stun. So in actual combat, that actually is a very good mechanics, because you can kind of interrupt what the enemy is doing. So in the likes of content where you want to stun the enemy, so you can kind of get the upper hand, this unit is probably going to be your main go-to. In arena, when you're trying to lock down a unit, you want to prevent it from doing something, this unit can actually be very deadly. But as far as arena-wide goes, this unit I don't feel this unit is capable of surviving too long in there. So if you want to use it, it's definitely going to be at your discretion, I feel like. So let's go back to the Transcendent skill. Transcendent skill, for the first 30 seconds, you are getting an increased evasion by 50%. So that's actually not enough. 50% is just a very low baseline at this point in time, because most unit either has increased accuracy or some form of fashion or an avoidable status apply or stun, either way. So having that is actually not that good. If they would have made a baseline of 75%, which I know they wouldn't, but if that does happen, this unit obviously would have been a lot in a better position in a way. Beam damage increased by 36%, and the EX skill gauge recovered by 50% when the battle begins. And then whenever EX skill is activated for 8 seconds, increase accuracy by 75%. So this is what I'm talking about. When a unit has this much high accuracy, that evasion becomes negative, so you're not really evading. So it's kind of unfortunate, isn't it? So overall, as far as the base kit of Sazabi, it looks great. I will not deny. Like on paper, it looks fantastic. You have, damage cap increase, guaranteed hits for the first 18 seconds, range damage increase by 200, and you have all these stuff. But in actual combat, in terms of peak damage, man, this unit disappoints me a lot. So like I said again, I have extensively tested this unit out, through my videos. I did 2 recordings already, so you guys are probably going to be seeing the initial showcase after this one in a few hours, I believe, because I already scheduled it. But man, the damage is alright at P1 and P0T0. I'm not too picky about that. But other than that, this unit does not offer anything any other unit is not already doing, if that kind of makes sense. And at T5, or at P5 specifically, you are losing out to Yellow Sazabi and Gadgelatron. Like, I don't even know how. Is it because this is a rare unit, it naturally sucks? Or what is it? But I would definitely say one really positive thing, and the only saving grace for this unit is just this line. But other than that, yeah, this unit feels pretty bad in general. So Unfortunately, I would have to tell you guys to skip on it. I would probably say for someone something that is at least performance wise is better, because this unit is not it. And not to mention, charging up the EXQ is actually the longest thing possible. I kid you not, my yellow Sazabi without any EXQ gauge recovery increase actually charges, I want to say 3 times, I want to say 1.5 times faster just naturally. So by the time this Sazabi is about to pop its second EXQ, my yellow Sazabi is already on its way to charge up its third EXQ. So it's that bad. So can I really recommend it? No, no, no. But take a look at this Char with the helmet. So let's see what's going on. I think for this Char is actually, I argue, is fairly excellent because of the fact that you're gaining a stackable for both range and melee. So in a certain situation where any future purple raid unit may have a, may go off from a dual situation being a range and melee, this would have been a very good pilot from skill 1. And skill 2, I will definitely say it may be on the weaker aspect, because being a red mobile suit and then Neo Xeon affiliated isn't the most common thing out there possible. So I think ultimately, depending on how your box are looking like, this may be a skippable pilot or something you might want to go ham on. But I think overall it really depends on what your box is looking at. I think skill 1 is enough to produce good damage, at least good range sense overall, because of the fact that you can stack. But other than that, I will probably say wait for, pilot that actually gives you things that are a little bit more generic, things that actually packs more impactful ability, like as far as the category, have things that are a little bit more common, so you don't find the pilot too restricted where you cannot apply to another unit. So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I think I definitely feel like for the Char, it's not really needed if you already have a few other things that can satisfy both melee, melee sense and the range sense. I think there isn't a lot out there right now. This probably may be the first one we have for global at the moment. So if you don't pull for this Char for your Sazabi is going to lack in either direction. So so that's gonna be the problem. So yeah, it really depends on what you're looking at. But if you guys are not summoning for this Sazabi specifically, then there wouldn't be a high priority for summoning for this Char. So it definitely goes hand in hand. But yeah, other than that, definitely suggest you guys to skip this banner. It's not the most perfect Sazabi out there. And I would definitely believe they would be releasing more Sazabi in the near future. I think right now for JP, I think this is the last Sazabi that we have gotten. And we have not gotten any other new Sazabi thus far. So I mean, like, I'm definitely anticipating we should be getting some in the near future very soon. But other than that, that is going to be pretty much it for me. And I'll be catching you guys on the next one.